everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to have some fun with foil. Yes, I have the foil bug. I've got the Gina K Designs and Thermoweb foil bug, and ever since I started playing with these really fun products, I am kind of amazed every time I take it out of the laminator and see all that shine. And so I wanted to share actually two simple card projects with you today. So let's take a look at the products that I'll be using. I have two sets of the Gina K Designs foil mates. One of these is the Polka Party, and the other is called Birthday Bash. So the Polka Party is just backgrounds, and the Birthday Bash is sentiments. Now when you get a pack of foil mates, you get a whole bunch of a couple different designs so that you can cut these out for many different cards. And the great thing about the foil mates sentiments is they are designed to work with Gina's dies. So if you have her die sets, they will cut them out perfectly. Now these are backgrounds, and you can cut these in half. And each one of these foil mate sets comes with this parchment paper, and this is what you're going to use as your carrier sheet to run through your laminator. So foil mates, they are printed with a special resin which grabs the foil and it heats up and adheres to your panel. Now I've already cut my panel. I'm going to be using the big dot along with some of Gina's inks. I've got sweet mango, sweet corn, a little tangerine twist, and some daubers. I'll also be using some of the sweet mango cardstock. And for the foils, I'll be using sweet mango foil and the wild dandelion. So two different colors that I will be incorporating into my card today. These are the dies that I will be using to cut out my sentiments. So these oval dies, there's double stitched and single stitched, and they layer together so you can create a nice shadow layer. And for my second card, I'm also using some of Gina's rectangles, which do the same. They create a lovely shadow layer. All right, here we go. Now I'm taking the sweet mango first, and I'm just loading up my jumbo sponge dauber, tapping a little off, but not a lot, because I do want to have some nice ink coverage. And I'm going to take this ink right to the foil mate. What I want to do here is just create a pretty orange and yellow background. Now, talking about these sheets that you get in the foil mates, they have this toner printed that will resist this ink, and when you apply heat and pressure to it and foil, the foil transfers to all those black dots. So it's pretty cool to have this because I feel like it looks so different when you start inking, and then when you pull this out, once the foil has been applied, it's really cool. So again, just loading up my jumbo sponge daubers with ink and laying it down until I get it how I like the look. Now one thing about Gina's inks, number one, they're gorgeous, and number two, when you put them down, they'll be a little darker at first and then they dry back a little lighter. So I wanted to add just a little pop of this brand new color, Tangerine Twist. It's got a bit more, I guess, red in it and very deep orange. So again, just going to go through and blend it out. It doesn't have to be perfect, and also I'm not as concerned about the center of this panel because that's going to get covered up. All right. And now I'm just going to take a paper towel, just kind of buff over it quickly in case there's any ink that's sitting on top of those toner dots. And while that's drying completely, I'm going to take the dies to cut out my sentiment. And you can see here how the single stitch is just a fraction larger than the double stitch. So I'm going to cut the birthday sentiment greeting here. And this also is printed with that toner ink. So I'm going to cut the panel out and run it through my die cutting machine, and that way all the other sentiments stay in place, and I will tuck that back into the little carrier folder so that I can use those for other cards. Now here's the thing, I've got 3 pieces of what I call crap stock. This is just some cheap cardstock that I keep in my craft room, and I'm using 3 pieces inside my parchment folder to begin the foiling process. Now, this is a trial and error thing, I feel. If you're not getting a great result with foil, then try adding the shim, because that's what I did. And once I started shimming, then my foil just adhered beautifully, and I had much less of the sometimes patchiness where you'll see a little bit of the black showing through. So for this sentiment panel, I wanted the stars to be one color and the type to be another color. So what I did was I took some of this wild dandelion foil. Now it's pretty staticky here, so I'm just going to tell you, it took me a while to get it all cut. So I decided to take this lint-free cloth and just brush over to make sure there was no debris or anything on this panel. And then I just started positioning the foil over the cards. It took me a while. They were sticking in my fingers, but once I had just the stars covered, I very carefully closed the folder because I didn't want it to move. I had done this a couple times and the foil shifted, so that is in place, and now I can run it through my machine. And I have the Royal Sovereign. This is a really nice laminator. You can use any laminator to apply foil to your projects. But I run it through twice. I figure, you know what, there's nothing lost other than time, okay? So by running it through twice, I know that my foil is really going to adhere beautifully to the areas where that black toner ink appears. And now you can see how I only have the stars in gold. And that's exactly what I wanted to do, a two-tone effect. Now I'm going to take my sweet mango foil and just cut this down to size. And I will place this down. Now there is a grain that you can see in the foil, and I've got this tip from Gina K Designs. She has said that if you place it with the grain, turn your piece so that when you turn it and run it through, it's all going with the grain, so to speak, that can also help with a better transfer of foil. And again, I ran that through 2 times, and now it's time for the peel and reveal. I love this part where you peel it off and look at that. Ah, so cute. Orange and a yellow gold color, both together on a single panel. But then don't throw away the negative, if you will, because I'll show you, this is a little piece I did with a sample card I had done earlier where I adhered this leftover using some Deco foil transfer gel. And that way you can get more sentiments out of one piece of foil. Now I had a little piece of foil, a little straggler that I didn't want, and if that happens, you can just use like a mono sand eraser. Works great for taking that off. So now it's time to foil my panel, and you can kind of see it looks a little lighter. I think the ink dried back a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to cut a piece of the sweet mango foil. Again, just going to wipe it down once with my anti-static lint cloth. If it's not anti-static, it's a lint-free cloth, people, and it's fantastic. It's an e-cloth. And now, foil laid in place, and I'm going to turn it, and again, run this through the machine 2 times. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because it's like watching paint dry. Okay, 2 times through. Going to peel this back, and when it comes out, it's not too hot that you can't touch it. It's warm, but you're not going to injure yourself here. Oh look, there I am. And now the peel and reveal, and look at that, just a perfect transfer. And look at that shine. It's so pretty, and I'm glad that the light actually does catch it here because it's gorgeous. And again, when you have this piece left over, don't throw it away, because I also took a leftover from a sample card and adhered it with some Deco foil transfer gel. But you could also use some of Thermoweb's toner paper and create a completely different look. I don't have any of that, so that's on my list. Now it's time to start assembling my card. I'm going to trim off, it comes to 1/4 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch. I'm not very good at math and fractions. I just know that if I take the 1/4 and then another 1/8, I get a panel to the right size. But don't throw away those strips either, because you could use those on another card project. So set those aside. Now I'm going to be using some of Gina's heavy base weight premium cardstock for my card base. And with this heavier weight, it's 120 pound, you want to give it a few scores. You don't have to press too hard. Just make sure you get a nice score. And if you do that, you will have no cracking of your cardstock. It's a beautiful, white, really smooth cardstock. It's really gorgeous. And now, before I adhere anything, I like to tape my cards closed. I don't like a card to be popping up while I'm trying to, stand over and get things on straight. So I'm going to use just my favorite dot adhesive here, and I'm going to put this right on to the card base. I'm not going to pop this up at all. I just like this kind of smooth, flat look with that lovely margin space. Isn't that pretty? And again, I can't help myself. I got to tilt it because of the shine. Now, here's the shadow layer and the panel. And again, you can see how it has just that nice little edge of orange. And that is the Sweet Mango cardstock, which works great with the Sweet Mango ink and the Sweet Mango foil. Once I get that lined up, and it took me a while, I'm not standing up looking straight down, and that is imperative for me to line things up. But I decided to use some foam squares, and this is the thicker foam squares. There's different depths that you can get, and for something like this, when this is the only thing popping up, I like to use the thicker foam squares. And look at that. Nice little bit of loft there, and that is my finished card. It's just so simple, but with the white and the shine and the two colors of foil, I just love this effect. I think it's fantastic. Really turned out great. Now I wanted to show you another card that I had created. I used the same sheet. I just cut out "Hope Your Birthday is Amazing," and again did the same thing with the gold for the stars and the sweet mango for the sentiment, and then I cut that out using another one of Gina's sets that has the double stitched and the single. For those gold stars, I used some of this transfer gel from Deco Foil Transfer Gel, spread it down on some cardstock with a palette knife, and here's a little piece waiting to be foiled. You can't see, but once it dries clear, you just punch out your stars with the die cut machine and then foiled them. I foiled them with the wild dandelion just to create that fun look for another card. And that is the fun with foil. Am I right? Am I right, ladies? Gentlemen? Thank you. Anyway, I think if you haven't tried foil, check it out. It can be really fun to play with. It adds shine, and I feel like you can have a really simple design like this, but it really packs a punch with all that gorgeous foil applied. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you liked what you saw, and if you did, please, by all means, give it a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. If you did not like this video, well, then I will try to make something less shiny next time. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.